Today we are going to discuss about the first practical in under microengineering. Okay, so under microengineering we have total 8 practicals. So 2 practicals are based on antenna that you have seen earlier, and now this remaining practicals are based on microwave engineering. So this is first practical and the title is Introduction to Microwave Components. Okay, so we will have a basic introduction about all these microwave components. Now, as all of you know, microwaves are the waves which are having very small wavelength, okay, which can be measured in micrometers. That's why the name is microwaves. So as wavelength is smaller, frequencies are very high. As per IEEE band recommendation, the microwave frequency ranges from 1 GHz to 10 raised to 6 GHz. So huge band is covered under microwaves. Now for carrying such high frequency signal, we need specialized devices. Now whatever devices we are used up till now at second year, third year level, they were all operating at lower frequencies. Okay, so BJTs, FET, and then diode. And for generation of frequency you are used signal generators. So they were all small signal devices. Do you remember what maximum frequency the function generator can produce? So if you have observed, it's only 10 megahertz and microwaves are starting from 1 gigahertz. So those all components are cannot be used for microwave frequencies. So we have a special set of components. Now in this video we are going to have a brief introduction about passive microwave components. Passive means they can just carry microwaves, they can't generate. In next video or afterwards we will see the active microwave components as well. So this is the very first microwave component. It's called as waveguide. Okay, as you can see, it's a waveguide. Okay, having rectangular cross section. So waveguide is basically a hollow metallic pipe having uniform cross section, and this cross section is rectangular. Now waveguide is nothing but a microwave frequency transmission line. Like for small signal frequencies you make use of wire, twisted pair or coaxial cable, but those are not suitable for microwaves. For carrying microwaves we need such kind of pipe, and this pipe is called waveguide. Okay. So as you can see, at the two ends it has this square flanges. These flanges are used for coupling this waveguide with another devices. Okay, so you can tie them with screws. So microwaves, when they enter inside this waveguide, through this hollow pipe via internal reflections the microwave propagate. Okay, we will see that in more detail during our lectures. So this is a 30 cm long waveguide. This is similar one but smaller size. This is a 10 cm long waveguide, rectangular cross section. Now waveguides can also be having circular cross section like pipe, but for this practical we will be using only rectangular waveguides. Now this is a similar structure like waveguide, okay, but this has one port permanently terminated. This is called a termination. Okay. So what is use of this termination, or this is called match load. So what is use of this match load? It is like an forming a perfect impedance matching or giving impedance matching. So at the end of microwave transmission line, this match load is connected. It absorbs all the waves coming at this end as this port is terminated, and you can see inside that there is a carbon rod which absorbs all the waveforms. Okay, so this acts like a match load. Okay, so this is another form of waveguide. Then one by one we will see some passive components on this side. Now first of all look at this T junctions. Okay, so these are called microwave T junctions. This is H plane T, this is E plane T, and this is magic T. So one by one I will tell you. Now look at this. This is H plane T. Okay. Now T, because As you can see, there are two waveguides. One is horizontal, one is this vertical, and they are forming a T junction. So they are called T's, microwave T's. In this also, there is one main waveguide, another auxiliary waveguide, and they are forming a junction like T. This is E plane T. Now you can notice the difference between these two T's. Okay, both are T junction, but their structures are little different. Now I will tell you how. So as you can see, this is main waveguide. Okay, so to this main waveguide, this auxiliary waveguide is connected or secondary waveguide is connected, and the axis of this auxiliary waveguide, this arm, is parallel to the H field in main waveguide. Now you might be knowing what are H field and E field. Microwaves are nothing but electromagnetic waves. Okay, so they contain electric field and magnetic field both. Electric field has a direction like this inside the waveguide. It is vertical, and magnetic field is horizontal. Okay, it's in the form of circular loops. So electric field is vertical, magnetic field is horizontal inside the waveguide when you excite waveguide with microwaves. So this T is called H plane T because the axis of this auxiliary arm is parallel to H field in the main waveguide. Okay. Similarly, this is called E plane T because as you can see, E field direction in the main waveguide will be vertical, and this auxiliary arm axis is parallel with the E field. So this T is called E plane T. Okay. Now this is a 4-port device which is a combination of H plane T and E plane T. This is called magic T. Okay. It has 4 ports. So these are two main ports. This is H port and this is E port. Okay. Now what is function of these T junctions? They are generally used for adding microwave signal or subtracting or splitting the microwave signals. We will be performing practicals on this, so that time we will come to know. Now another passive microwave component is this. Okay. This is called directional coupler. Now as the name indicates, this is used for coupling the microwave energy into a particular direction. This is now as you can see the structure, there is one main waveguide and then there is secondary or auxiliary waveguide. They are two connected internally. There are certain holes inside through which the energy from this input port will be coupled to the secondary waveguide and it will be available at this port. So this is called a directional coupler. Then next are this is a isolator and this is a 3-port circulator. Now these are special microwave devices. They are called ferrite devices. There is a material, ferrite material, which is a non-metallic material having magnetic properties. So that material is placed inside these devices which give a different set of features to these components. So I will now here at this point only tell you the basic feature. Isolator is a 2-port device. As you can see, ferrite is there inside. And isolator, as the name indicates, is used to isolate the waves. Means it will allow the wave to flow in one direction like this arrow. From here to here energy can flow, but from this end to this end energy cannot flow. Circulator, as the name indicates, allows the flow of energy only in circular manner. Means from port 1 signal can come to port 2, port 2 signal can come to port 3 and so on. So these are ferrite devices. Now this is over. Now this is another waveguide kind of looking device, but inside this rectangular waveguide a small diode is fixed. If you can see inside this a diode is fixed. So through removing this knob we can see that diode, and then there is a BNC connector provided here which we can connect to CRO. At other end this waveguide is properly terminated. So this is called as detector, okay, diode detector. It is actually used to detect the microwave signal. A modulated microwave signal can be detected, means demodulated, and the same can be observed on CRO. Okay, so in every practical we will be using this detector for demodulating the microwave signal. Now next is this. This is called frequency meter. This is an interesting device. This is a direct reading circular cylindrical type frequency meter. So this is for measurement of microwave frequency. As you can see, again there is a rectangular waveguide on which this cylindrical portion is fitted, and I can go on moving this. Okay. So when you connect this frequency meter in the microwave test bench setup, it can measure the excited microwave frequency. Now these microwave equipments that we are going to use in the lab, they all are designed for the X band of microwave. So there are different bands in the microwave. X band is one of them, and it ranges from 8 GHz to 12 GHz. So likewise, this frequency meter has readings calibrated from 8 GHz to 12 GHz. So we can connect this meter inside with a microwave setup, and then we can go on rotating and take the readings using this meter. How to use this meter I will tell you when we will perform practically. And this is one more interesting device. This is called a slotted waveguide section with probe carriage. Okay, so there are basically two devices. See, if you can see properly, there is a waveguide. This is a long waveguide, and there is a slot made inside the waveguide. Okay, so waveguide is teared off, and you can insert this probe. There is a pinpoint probe inside this waveguide, and using this pinpoint probe and the diode inside that probe, you can actually measure the microwave signal at any location in the waveguide. Okay. So this device is fitted like this. You can give a signal from this end. This probe is fitted inside it. So this pin is inserted inside the waveguide. Now with this knob you can go on moving this. Okay, and the whatever signal, microwave signal is excited inside this waveguide, you can measure that signal, demodulate it, and can observe on CRO. A BNC connector is provided here. Okay, so these are few microwave devices. Now we'll stop today at this point.